So today we're going to talk about the 2024 Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison Edition, what this means for the four-wheel drive community, and what it's going to do to make the competition step up their game. So let's get started. Two things we're going to notice about the bumper on this truck. First, the front and rear bumpers are steel, and the front bumper has winch capabilities, so you can actually put a winch in this by factory. You don't have to buy a separate bumper or figure out some way to get a winch in there or buy a winch kit. You can already put a winch in this bumper from the factory. That's a pretty big deal. And just like last year, the front and rear differentials have lockers on it. That's not a new thing, but it's always nice to have front and rear differential lockers. So the biggest change this year is 35-inch tires and a 12.2-inch ground clearance. These are a massive change because before, on a mid-size truck, you always had to do a lot of work and costs involved, and some of these vehicles out there you had to chop a cab mount on. You just had to do a lot of finagling to get these 35-inch tires into these gaps. Now this is the first one that by factory you can get it already done for you. I bet we can spend 40 hours of time and labor trying to get these tires to fit in there. Now we don't have to. It's already done for us. That's a big deal. The approach, breakover, and departure angles, because of the tires and the lift kit, they are leaders in the class now. This truck has an approach angle of 38.2 degrees. You couldn't get that before unless you were in a Jeep Wrangler. There was no competition. Now we have a truck that competes against that. And a 26.9 degree breakover angle, none of the trucks could do that before, not even close. So finally we have a truck that has a nice breakover angle. And the departure angle, of course, you got big tires on there, lift kit. It's going to have a nice departure angle of 26.9 degrees. Of course, the biggest deal is, those 35-inch tires. Those are massive tires. Good job of Chevy to finally do this from the factory. Also, it comes with bead locking tires from the factory. Not everybody's going to use that, but there's a few that will, and it's nice that they have it already on there. Now we're going to talk a little bit about what I think is bad and good. Bad, these parts are expensive. Some of these parts are very expensive. These Multimatic adjustable shocks, they're an expensive part, so when one day it does break down, it's going to cost a lot to replace this. That's the only bad, really. The good, those lower control arms are still cast iron. Those are steel lower control arms. There's some companies out there that are going to aluminum to get less unspring spring weight, and I think that's a bad thing because when you're going off-roading, you can gouge the heck out of those aluminum lower control arms, where a steel one, it's going to slide right over. It's not going to gouge it. It'll scratch it, but it ain't going to gouge the heck out of that lower control arm. So I really believe you've got to have steel lower control arms. This is another bad for me. I don't know what they can do to fix it, make more room underneath the carriage, but I do not like a spare tire in the bed. It just, for daily driving, it's annoying. So that's my opinion on that. I really wish they didn't do this. Now here you can see the skid plates all across the entire bottom. These are boron steel skid plates, which means they're tough. They're going to slide really well. The aluminum ones out there are nice, but they dent easy. They scratch very easily. They gouge. So aluminum, they're nice, but they're not as good as a boron steel skid plate. These things are going to be great. They're going to last you while you're out there. I'm coming a little bit back on the bad again. In my opinion, this is bad because, again, these are very, very expensive parts. And I hate it when a truck starts putting expensive parts on it that it's going to break down, these parts, and then we're going to have to pay to replace them. I mean, we have over here, we have our strut assembly and this Multimatic dampener. The dampener, I don't think we really need it. I mean, in my opinion, it's just an extra cost. Same here. We got the shock over here, but then we got this multimatic dampener over here. I just don't think we need something like that in a truck. Well, that sums everything up about the 2024 Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison Edition. Like I said, I think this is going to be a class leader, and unless the competition like the Toyota Tacoma or the Ford Ranger Raptor step their game up a little bit more, this is going to be the truck to beat. So we'll see what happens in the future. If you like what I'm bringing you and the content, please subscribe because you all make this channel happen. And we'll see you next episode.